This is part 2 of a two-parter, so if you haven't seen part 1, feel free to click the link in the description. Alright, you've been waiting, and I've been working. So here it is, part 2, which is technically the beginning of the story, since part 1 was more of an expositional backstory. If
Get on with it!
Right? Sorry. Just let me... There we go. Narrator voice activated.
That's the same voice.
Yeah, and?
Okay, whatever, man.
Now, where were we? Ah, yes, the goblins in the forest. Elise, the elf ninja. Zed, the half-elf warrior. Malakashar, the half-elf cleric. A lot of elven influence here. And leading the way, Joral, the human knight, traveled through the countryside until they arrived at a farmhouse whose fields bordered the dark forest. The sun was beginning to set, and so the party sought to stay the night. Who's there?
We are traveling adventurers seeking shelter for the night.
Shelter? No. I mean, we can't put you up in here. It's a mess. We don't want to be bothered right now. So if y'all could just move along.
Sir, we noticed your fence was destroyed. I take it the goblins from the forest have been causing problems for you. We've actually been contracted to deal with them, and we assure you that we won't be of any trouble.
The goblins, huh? It's true, they are a pain in the ass. All right, y'all can stay in the barn. Just don't come into the house. Us law-abiding citizens are, not prepared for guests right now. Is that a brewer? Are you folks moonshiners? What? Of course not. What gave you that silly idea? Don't be spreading lies now. It's okay, we're not going to tell anybody. I have no idea what you're talking about, ha ha ha. Get in the barn and leave. So the group settled into the stinky barn and made beds out of the hay, resting for the night. At least that was the plan until goblins swarmed out of the forest and began firing off flaming arrows at the farmhouse.
Damn these creatures! Okay, team, let's take care of them.
Hold up. They're just goblins, right? How about you guys fend them off while I rescue the old couple from the fire?
How? The first floor is going up in flames.
I can scale the side and climb in through the second-story window. No problem.
Okay, meet back with us after you get them out.
Sure thing.
So the party splits up. Elise heads towards the farmhouse, and the rest of the party engages the goblins. It was supposed to be a pretty basic textbook first battle, but something went a little differently this time. That's right. Our game master actually homebrewed a werewolf class. Balance be damned. I was stoked that we had something like this on our side. In-game, however, this didn't go over well with Joral.
Fiend! Why did you not tell us about your curse?
You never asked.
Never ask. Why would I think to ask something like that?
Whatever.
Oh.
It's not really any of
Hey
your
guys,
business anyway.
fire.
And besides, I helped, didn't I? Now get that sword out of my face.
I should cut you down where you stand. How many innocent
Fire.
people have you
House.
killed? How many
On.
died because of what you are?
My past is none of your business, Knight. Lower your sword or I'll...
Or what? You'll kill me? I'd like to see you try.
Yo, the house is on fire. Oh, yeah, the moonshine. Shoot.
What happened? Where is the old couple?
What are you doing up here?
Just checking out your place. Nice digs. Wow, is that real aged oak?
Oh, yeah. Forgot to mention, little detail. Elise was very evil, okay? Normally, that kind of thing's not a problem, except her player never bothered to tell us. For real. So when she went into the farmhouse, we really trusted that she would save the old couple.
Yeah, I tried to find them, but by the time I did, the fire had already reached them. Sorry. I did all I could.
Well, that's truly unfortunate. Anyways, there's something we all need to deal with. This one is a werewolf.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Thanks.
It's not cool! He's a killer!
Yeah, a killer of the goblins you also killed. Geralt, you don't actually have any proof that he hurt anyone else, do you? No? Okay. If Zed can promise not to kill us all, and Elise is cool with it, I don't really have a problem with it either.
Fine. But I've got my eye on you. Don't try to pull anything, or I will end your cursed existence.
Ah, poor Jorah. To be the only good aligned character in a neutral, leaning evil party, it's quite the pickle. Anyway, for expediency, let's fast forward to the old abandoned mine shaft, where the goblins were originating from. The party found itself in front of a section of underground river in a cavern. Zed, triathlon champion, swam across with little trouble and took one end of a rope with him to hold at his end, while the other end was held by Malkashar and Jorah. This let Elise gracefully tightrope prance across with an incredible acrobatics check, and then that left the other two. The main problem here was that as a cleric and fighter, both characters were wearing medium or heavy armor, respectively, which makes swimming kind of hard, and the water is fairly deep, and moving pretty fast. So while Malkashar decided to doff his armor and gamble on his swimming ability as well as finding more armor later on, Jorah wanted to keep his for reasons. He would hang on to the rope and let Zed and Elise pull him across. But he rolled a natural 1 on his swim check and sank like a rock, with the current dragging him toward the end of the river 10 or 15 feet. He started making con saves to hold his breath and was clearly in trouble, as the other two couldn't lift him out of the water. Malkashar knew that they would need all the help that they could get to survive the challenges ahead, because things had been pretty difficult up to that point. And so he dove in after Jorah to try to bring him back. Except his swim check wasn't very good either, so Malkashar started getting taken by the current too, although he could at least keep his head above water.
I don't think we can pull him out. The current's too strong and the bastard's too heavy.
Yeah, let's just cut our losses, man. Swim over to us.
We need him!
Actually, pretty sure we don't.
Yeah, guy's kind of an asshole.
Good luck to both of you! I'm going after him!
Seriously?
Was it a smart decision? Nope. But we weren't dead yet. Our GM gave us a chance to survive, although honestly, if he wanted to kill us right then and there, we would have been like, okay, and made new characters, no big deal. Make no mistake, he was being very kind to us. We ended up in another underground cavern. It was bigger this time, with a waterfall and a small lake in the center of the room. Jorah got knocked around and lost consciousness, but thankfully, Malkashar somehow stayed alive with 2 hit points, even without armor. Maybe that made it easier to navigate. But the two made it to shore and rested. After recuperating some hit points thanks to Mal's clerical healing abilities, the two tried to find a way out. There were only 2 options. A locked iron door with an elven inscription that read, "Death awaits those who enter the labyrinth," which was actually pretty rad, but it was locked. So that left the other choice, which was an entrance to a small cavern filled with acid, inside which lay a dwarven skeleton in untouched plate armor whose outstretched hand held a shiny golden key, and across from which there was another tunnel. Now, okay, listen, I know acid would technically dissolve bones, alright, but this is a game, so you gotta kind of suspend your disbelief. If you can believe in magic, believe that this is a special magic acid that doesn't dissolve bones, alright? We cool on that? Alright, moving on. Now, this is probably one of my favorite moments in a Pathfinder game. After a brief back and forth between Jorah's player and the GM about the fact that the dwarf's armor was pristine and intact, Jorah stares at the armor and then looks at his own steel boots. Let's figure out a way to remove that acid. Maybe a spell or...
Do you think I can make it?
What?
I think I can make it.
No, stop! And without a moment's hesitation, the dude just up and went for it, rolling con saves to avoid being melted. He reached about 5 feet from the edge when he finally just failed his last save and then fell backwards into the acid. His legs just dissolved from underneath him. Oh, Jorah, Knight for Justice, was dead. Malkashar was now alone. And he quickly reasoned that the spell Burning Hands could just clear a path through the acid pit, so, if he just waited, it all would have been fine. But whatever, oh well, he grabbed the key and entered the last room. So long, Joral. It was a tomb, filled with sarcophagi, the center of which had a dwarven lord, wearing some snazzy magic hide armor, something Malkishar was actually proficient with. And after somehow defeating an ambush of 5 or 6 undead dwarves, being a cleric saved him there, Mal donned the armor, took anything else of value, and returned to the locked door with the key, ready to make his escape. He was level 3 at this point, thanks to all the experience gained from those undead that he just killed, which was cool. Well, here is unfortunately where Malkishar's story ends. It seems the elven inscription was referring to the Labyrinth's guardian, a mighty minotaur which was meant for an entire party to fight, not a cleric. Mal fought valiantly, but was impaled on the third turn by the minotaur's horns and met his end. And that, kids, is why you never split the party. So, if you are someone who's wondering if playing D&D or Pathfinder is worth the trouble, I'd say absolutely. It's a wonderful way to tell a collaborative story and socialize with friends and make new ones. Just make sure you're playing with a good group of people, give an honest effort to be on time, and respect your GM/DM. Thank you so much for sitting through that whole video and getting to this point. I want to personally express my gratitude. I want to make more stuff like this, more videos of this nature, animated videos about rants and D&D stories for sure. I got a lot of those on the back burner. If that kind of stuff sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on some other social media links. I do some stuff, And hey, I didn't do this alone. I had a lot of help from some very talented voice actors. I'm also going to leave links to their social media accounts. Yeah, and have a happy holidays. All right. I love you. Bye-bye.